It's that time of the year, guys. Transfer portal madness it's happening right now. Unfortunately, West Virginia is going to be disadvantaged in a couple of these situations, but also on the other flip side of that coin, we got a major influx of SEC talent heading to Morgantown.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
And what is up? Welcome back in, guys. My name's Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Thanks for joining Locked On West Virginia as we run a late night edition of the show, guys. I just haven't been able to get to this today as quickly as I wanted to. Apologies for the late night episode. I'm sure you don't care. Brought to you by FanDuel, of course, today. Today's episode is going to be brought to you by FanDuel. And right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So make sure you head over to FanDuel.com to get started, guys. And like I said, thanks for making us your very first listen or your last listen. It depends on what time of the day it is for you. So where do I want to begin here? I think, West Virginia has been extremely aggressive in the portal, in both basketball and football. And so on today's show, we're going to kind of go over some of that. But what we're really going to jump into is we got a couple SEC transfers visiting. I was able to speak with a Florida Gators transfer, Greg Smith III, who told me that he was going to be visiting West Virginia. Also got a hold of the Texas offensive lineman, his camp, about the visit they had with West Virginia and what to think there. Basketball, 4-star visitor is coming to town. Also in basketball, we've got an update on Smurf Miller, and not a great one. We've also got an update on another player that West Virginia had been mentioned alongside of, but we weren't never sure if this was going to happen. So a lot to get to, guys. We're going to try to pack it all in here to 30 minutes. We'll see where we're at by the end of this. I think we need to start in the SEC, though. The best football in the country is played there. After all, I don't think any of us would go against that. And so even guys on SEC teams that are transferring out are still very good players. In some cases, these guys have started a lot of games. But let's start with the guy that I sourced out today. I saw that he was in the portal. I saw that he was going to be making some visits, and I just happened to reach out, as I do from time to time, whether that be through an agent, whether that be through another means, and said, hey, bro, would you be happen to come to West Virginia, just as on a visit, because they've been so aggressive, with these big safeties and stuff. It turns out he is. So that was kind of fun to run into that. But it's Greg Smith III, a defensive back from Florida, transferring out of the Gators program. He good player coming out of high school. And while he has limited or very little recorded game action at Florida, his high school tape is insanity. He had 1,600 passing yards, 32 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, 400 rushing yards, and 7 touchdowns, and was a dual threat quarterback. Guys, you know what my first thought was when I saw this? Here we go again with Pat White. Could it be another down south quarterback that played safety in high school? Then maybe Rich Rod sold this guy on playing quarterback in the dual threat system for West Virginia. Obviously not going to be the case, more than likely, but I just got a chuckle thinking about that. I think this guy's going to play safety. He's huge. He's 6'4", he's 200 pounds, and he can add some weight. He's definitely what I would consider a sleeper kind of recruit with extremely high upside. He's got a multi-sport background, so he's got versatility. Probably needs a little refinement in some of his coverage techniques from what I saw based on high school footage. I'm sure he's gotten a lot of that fixed in Florida and college, where they pump out DBs to the NFL. He's a long, rangy kid with speed to cover deep routes and close on ball defenders during my tape study. I think he could play free. I think he could play strong or even nickel. And look, because of that offensive experience, it's going to help him with that IQ, in my opinion. His high school tape, he had interceptions and pass breakups. I think he showed to be a really good playmaker in high school, and I think it'll transfer over. He does have minimal stats in college, so he's unproven against Power 4 competition, yes. I think he's a little raw in man-to-man coverage. His tackling for him needs a little bit of polish. At 195 pounds, he's probably going to have to add some bulk in the Big 12. 6'4" and 195 isn't small, but it ain't. You'd like to see him get to around 205, 210 if you can. So, and on my transfer impact meter scale out of 50, which I've unveiled this year, I've got his coverage 14 out of 20. I think he's got great range and length for deep zones, but he's unpolished in man-to-man. That's what his high school tape shows to me. I think his run defense is a 6 out of 10. While he does lack college tackling stats, I think his high school tape shows willingness and ability, although the form can be a little inconsistent there. Playmaking, 8 out of 10. His high school interceptions, the PBUs, they all show that he's able to do that on film. And don't forget the offensive side of the ball where he made play after play after play. I've got versatility at 4 out of 5 on the scale, which is the ability to play multiple DV roles within West Virginia's flexible 3-3-5 scheme. And then also don't forget about developmental potential, guys, which I have a 4 out of 5 because he's got 4 years remaining of eligibility. He's probably a project with starter upside, and I have him right there to 35 out of 50 total on the transfer impact scale. He's a high upside addition who could bolster West Virginia's secondary depth in 2025, and I think he would start by 2026, no doubt about it. I think he's got a lot of upside. I think he's raw. If they brought him in, based on what we have on the roster now, guys, I think he would land in a good spot with these kind of things. So, all right, so let's roll into. Let's see. Hey, Raven or Dylan or Shaq, somebody bump the collective on up out of here. He's got nothing to contribute to this to chat. Let's roll into the commitment for the day because I really probably should have got into him a little earlier. Josh Isosa, offensive lineman from Oklahoma, obviously is committed to West Virginia. I'll tell you what, man, I was really pleasantly surprised by his high school tape. I really was. And I think he's going to have a chance to play this year, much less, play next year. I was, at Oklahoma, I can understand why you transfer out of there. They're consistently bringing in these 4- and 5-star guys. It would be hard to stay confident in a place like that when you can come to West Virginia where, it's kind of up in the air, right? I mean, it just is. So, he doesn't have any college stats, again, on this situation here. And these are the kind of SEC players that we kind of go for, I think, West Virginia. That's, these guys that have a lot of upside. And he's 6'3", 331 pounds. He's probably going to play inside, right? And I think he's an impact player for sure. He's got a massive frame. I think he's got the strength to anchor against Big 12 defensive tackles. His run blocking in high school shows he's got the ability to open lanes and definitely finish blocks. Man, is he ever a nasty finisher. Man, he absolutely dumps people into the ground. Like, he loves it, man. He loves that contact. So he and I had a conversation earlier. I'm going to show you guys. Oh, man, is anybody else's X page is acting up here? Every time I try to go to the messages, it's like, I don't know, man. Okay, so I think I got it here, though. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to share a screen with you guys, show you guys my messages with Josh. I do have permission to do that. So here we go. So this is my talk with Josh Isosa. His top 3 was West Virginia, Tulsa, and UNLV, but he'd also put North Texas in there too. But West Virginia hit him up first and set up the visit first and got him out there. The coaches showed a lot of love and made it feel like home. Probably playing interior offensive line here and can't wait to work and see my West experience on game day. So really cool kid, really nice guy. I have plans to get him on the show. And so we'll see. We're going to try to shoot for tomorrow to get this kid on to speak with him, guys. So that'll be fun. Certainly do think that don't be discouraged by the schools reaching out to him. West Virginia jumped out on him fast. And I do think that his offer list would have continued to grow and get bigger. But they jumped on him before I think word got out because you don't transfer from Oklahoma down a lot. It's just not something that happens a lot. And I personally think that West Virginia got a little bit of a steal here. So on my transfer impact meter scale, I've got him at a 38 out of 50. And then here's how I broke it down. I think he's a 15 out of 20. His high school dominance in the run game translates to the Big 12. Potential size is definitely a plus here. Pass pro, I've got an 8 out of 15 because he's improving at the college level, but high school film shows really solid fundamentals, guys. Physicality is 9 out of 10. 331 pounds, 6'3", and absolutely destroys people when it comes to putting them into the dirt. It's what he does best. I mean, he dislodges people, guys. He really does. I think his developmental is a 4 out of 5 as well. He's got room to grow, and he's 6'3", 337 pounds, inside guy. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So, I think he does add critical depth, which we're going to need to a rebuilding offensive line room that lost literally everybody to Virginia Tech. Almost like four. We got 4 guys at Virginia Tech now. So I think he'll probably be a backup in 25. And just like the last guy from Florida, he'll be a starter with starter upside in the Rodriguez offense going forward. So don't be too discouraged. They have to build it like this, guys. Not everybody that comes in can be a starter tomorrow. And I'm not saying he can't make it there. Let's go to break, guys. And on the other side of the break, the big one, Malik Agbo, offensive lineman that visited West Virginia from Texas. This would be a major slam dunk, home run. Name something else you want to throw on there. This would be like, I'm fainting. This would be a great pickup for West Virginia. This dude here can play. He started, 16 games at Texas, and Texas is one of the very best teams in the country, guys. West Virginia's got a shot there. Let's talk about it next. Stick around, guys. We'll break him down. And a 4-star basketball transfer as well on this episode of Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by none other than FanDuel. Guys, the NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I do love how FanDuel makes betting easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game ticks off, you can even combine your live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out on FanDuel. Head to FanDuel.com and make your $250 bonus bets claim. Do it today. It's segment 2. Let's crack a do, guys. And for today's do, I chose Baja Blast because you guys know whenever I need to Baja Blast off into the sun, it's a good day. And this one here, man, the conversation I had with this guy's camp, his agent or whoever it was I was talking to, I believe it was the agent. And I can't get the lid back on this. This is like a representation of my life. All right. Malik Agbo, offensive lineman from Texas. This is a 6'5", 315-pound behemoth that catches passes. I don't know. You tell me, but he caught passes at Texas at times, guys. And, he's a kid that played. He's developed his way into a role here. This is a guy. This wasn't your typical Texas recruit, the 4, the 5-star guy. This is a class of 2022, 3-star recruit that had a huge frame, room to grow, and what a better place to go than Texas nowadays than to develop at. Now, he did start at Boise State, so that has a lot to do with it. Transferred up to Texas, but let's talk about what he's done. So he's played 13 games, all left guard, 800-plus snaps, only allowed 2 sacks, graded as 72.5. Pro Football Focus grade in pass blocking. He's a really good player, guys. I like, one of his weaknesses that I have here during my tape study, it's literally his only weakness that I could find. Really, really fast guys off the edge seem to be something that can give him issues at times. And you got to think in the SEC, you face that every single snap usually. So, it's and look, like I said, he only gave up two sacks. So it's like it's okay. It's going to be fine. In 2023, he appeared in 12 games with 2 starts at guard. He had 400 snaps, only 1 sack allowed there. So in total, he's got 38 games, 15 starts, and a strong run blocking grade of 75 in PFF. That's in the SEC. 3 sacks allowed in his career. That's very good over the course of a few years, guys. You'll take it. Not everybody's going to be Wyatt Milam and just not give up any. I think he's got a lot of potential here. He anchored a 2,000 yard rushing offensive line in high school, and he was a mauler, obviously. He's kind of he looks like he could have been a tight end. He doesn't look like your typical offensive lineman in some ways, just the way he's built. He's got long, skinnier arms. They're not skinny by any means, but like they're not these huge. You know how they're kind of, I guess the word's fat maybe, but it's not the case with this guy. His arms are like basketball player arms, kind of. It's kind of odd looking, like a tight end, that's got just more slender, toned arms. But on tape, man, does he ever maul dudes? And that length at 6'5", 315 pounds, it really fits a big need for West Virginia and in that physicality we need up front. So his feet are just a tad bit heavy. And that's the only thing that I could find that I would say there's a weakness for him personally. So on the transfer portal meter scale here, his blocking is an 18 out of 20. He's got proven college production, and it makes him a day one starter, day one asset. Pass pro, 10 out of 15. He's solid, but not elite in my opinion. I think he'll need work. He needed work against SEC rushers. Maybe Big 12 rushers will be a little bit better for him because you don't face the SEC, if they're willing for one thing, it's elite pass rushers. The Big 12 has good pass rushers. You face them every week. Every now and again, you'll face an elite one. I do think the SEC has the edge there, obviously, in pass rushers. It's not some crazy thing to say. Physicality is a 9 out of 10. He's got size. He's got strength. He's got NFL caliber size and strength. He does. His immediate impact on the scale is 4 out of 5. He's a starter at probably guard and would address offensive line woes for West Virginia because obviously they're going after all linemen in the portal for a reason, guys. Whatever you want to say about it. I've got questions, but I'm not going to say anything out loud. So I've got him as a total of 41 out of 50. I think he'd be a cornerstone on the West Virginia 2025 offensive line. He would provide some stability and leadership if he commits. So, I think this is going to come down to some money here, guys, and I think West Virginia is going to have to shell it out. If you want a good player, you got to pay for a good player. And at the end of the day, I don't know which way they're going to roll with it. I would like to guess, but nobody told me one way or the other. I have a feeling. I think West Virginia is positioned well here. The fact that he visited us early on is a great sign, but the fact that he went on other visits and have gone on other visits now is also can be a bad sign. In today's day and age, if a guy takes all his visits, he's either very patient like Will Reed was that transferred to West Virginia, but he took all his visits, or he's looking for something more. And a lot of time, like Michael Coach Jr., West Virginia tries to tie these guys up before they leave because they're such good players. So, there's a lot of good offensive linemen out there still. And maybe West got this guy's price tag. He's got the Texas attachment to him. Maybe this is something they weren't willing or able to do, or maybe it's a great offer and he's going to see what else is out there. There's a bunch of different ways it could go. I can't promise you which way it's going to go for West Virginia. I'm going to keep in contact with those people. And as long as there's feedback, we're feeling pretty good because, as we know, the feedback I've been getting from another player in the basketball side hasn't been great, and we're going to talk about him next. Guys, don't forget to like the video. We've got a couple hundred of you guys over there on X. We've got about 100 of you guys on YouTube. I'm assuming a lot of people are watching the draft tonight. I'm not surprised. It's also 10 o'clock at night. So let's go to break. On the other side, guys, we'll talk about Smurf Miller, give you that update, and we'll also talk about Jaden Forsyth. Really good, not transfer, but a high school player, 4-star player, highly rated that West Virginia's in the mix for. He's going to be visiting West Virginia. We'll talk about him next as well. Oh, and one other football player that I forgot about. Totally forgot about him. We'll talk about him too. Stick around. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia is going to be brought to you by Amazon Fire TV, guys. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Well, that's right. Turning your TV into your gaming and entertainment hub. Do it now with Fire Stick TV devices in 4K. No console is required for this, guys. All you have to do is grab your pair controller, kind of like this right here. Just grab your pair controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass with your ultimate EA Play. If you got that included, you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles with EA Sports College Football 25, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, or Avowed, a really good RPG. As easily as you stream your favorite shows, it's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. The latest technology is there, guys, for elevated playing. With Wi-Fi 6-6E, you can even go in low latency mode, which is an advanced technology for the Fire Stick TV in 4K, which delivers a smoother, more responsive gameplay with lightning-fast speeds you need to stay competitive. I love playing games. It's no secret, guys, and I am truly interested in getting one of these for myself. I think the idea of a TV that is both console and TV is absolutely something I'm interested in, if anything, because I'm constantly having to do maintenance on my consoles because I travel around with them a lot. If I go somewhere for a day here or a day there, I usually will take my console with me because you never know when you get bored or when you want to play with a friend or when you want to play with a nephew or your niece or whoever. So I think this is an interesting deal here. It would kind of be fun to try it out. Head over to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. That's Xbox Game Pass, Ultimate subscription, and comparable controller is going to be required here, guys. And it's going to be available on select devices, including Fire Stick TV 4K, the second generation for that, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first and second gen on that one, and on your Fire TV Cube, third generation for that. Make sure you head over there and check it out, guys. Pretty cool technology. And here we are in segment 3, guys, talking a little bit more West Virginia basketball. Hey, thank you, Mark. I appreciate you, brother. I understand you guys are watching the draft and stuff. It's not a big deal. So, let's give you guys the basketball updates. I think a lot of you guys have been patient waiting on that, and then we'll jump back to the football thing because I did forget a guy that's visiting in football. Totally forgot about it. And a very big one at that. Could be the biggest of them all that I mentioned, even though he's not an SEC player. So, Jaden Forsyth. I did a lot of tape study on him today, guys, about an hour and a half or so. It's really all I could find on him, all the basketball tape I could find. Here are my notes on him. As you can see, I was, taking notes on him for a while today. So, he is a 6'5", 190-pound guard / small forward. I would lean towards small forward from Westchester, PA. It's a boarding academy there in PA. But he's actually originally from the Bronx, New York. And where have you heard that before, guys? Some of the best basketball players in West Virginia history come from the Bronx, New York, correct? 2024 kid. Very rare to see those still around. And, a lot of those guys are signed. This is one of the best in the country left unsigned. He's a 4-star rated player by 247 and Rivals, and he is visiting West Virginia. 113th overall in the 2025 class and number 1 recruit in Pennsylvania, guys, in the entire state. So he's right there on the cusp of being in the ESPN Top 100. And a Rivals, they say they're going to bump him up to a 4-star shooting guard on Rivals as well, but they have him for 3 for now. So I would imagine he's probably a composite 4 guy. You got Rivals with 3. You got, 247 with a 4. You got ESPN Top 100, and who knows where On 3 is with him. His AAU stuff is what I watched when I watched him because it was just easier to find. And he averaged right around 13 a game, 3 rebounds. But, man, can he shoot it, guys. He's skilled. He's got some dribbling. But his best ability, don't get it twisted, he plays great defense, and he can spray it from way deep, So this is another step in that direction for Ross Hodge and company, who continue to gravitate towards these guys that shoot over 40% from three. And I think that's, as many guys that do it nowadays, because shooting is becoming more worked on than finishing is. It's just the truth. It started with my generation, to be honest. I think, 40% is going to become a newer, I don't want to say normal, but the new, closer to average, as to where, like, now you think, well, 35% is right there on the cusp line for good these days, or in that range. I think 40% is going to someday soon be that, because everybody you look at in the portal that West Virginia's targeted anyway shoots right there at 40%. And I thought, well, shoot, we didn't have anybody that shot 40%. We had good three-point shooters last year, at least two of them. Well, this kid shoots it over 40%, and he sprays it from deep. He runs off screens. He's a catch and shoot. They run out of bounds plays from under the basket for him, and he shoots a high volume of shots at a very good percentage, which is what you want. I think he's got versatility, guys. He can slide between shooting guard and small forward. So he does have some positional flexibility. I don't think he's an explosive leaper, but he does use that length and basketball IQ to compete really, really heavily on both ends. He's definitely capable of guarding multiple positions due to his size and lateral quickness, in my opinion, but I don't know if you would consider him a lockdown defender yet. If he adds some weight to that frame, absolutely he's got a shot. He hadn't committed to Xavier, which is kind of funny. 2 years in a row, we could pull a 3-and-D type shooter from Xavier, but Jonathan Powell last year was a top 40 kid. This kid, I think, is right there with Powell in skill and everything else that you're looking at. So, obviously, Sean Miller left for Texas. This kid wasn't going to travel all the way to Texas. He's from Pennsylvania. And he chose Xavier over Butler, Penn State, Virginia Tech, Mississippi State, Wake Forest, and others before that Xavier commitment. So, as of right now, West Virginia and Tulane have reached out since the decommitment, and those are going to be the two places he visits. So I think West Virginia and Tulane are both in a position here to get a real steal. And if Tulane ends up being the only other spot that's reaching out to him, I would venture to say West Virginia is probably going to get this kid. I mean, no offense to Tulane, but if it's coming down to West Virginia and Tulane, I'm sorry, Tulane. That's like if it comes down to West Virginia and Duke. Sorry, West Virginia. So could Tulane pull it out with guaranteed starting minutes, maybe a comparable NIL deal? Sure. I think Tulane competes actually at both of those, in NIL especially, much more than a lot of people would think. They almost kept their quarterback from Duke if they didn't give him, what was it, $8 million or something crazy? Wild. Anyway, so May the 3rd through the 4th is when he'll be here. And obviously Ross Hodge is aggressively pursuing transfer portal and high school talent right now. So one other thing is Chester Frazier trying to make contact here, I noted during my research. This is only going to last for 1 year. Every time I see Frazier's reached out to a kid that we've talked to, I just roll my eyes, because we've got Chester Frazier at Virginia Tech. We've got, this is my buddy now, but we've got Jay Kuntz over at Pitt. When's it going to end, guys? Torture, right? It's just torture. So I think he's a good kid. I think he's a good player. I think, he would be a big impact for sure on this for West Virginia. Some of his stuff stat-wise, let's talk about that really quick. At Westtown High School, you average 15 a game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists per game, 40.8% from three on pretty much 80 attempts, and 82% from the line. In the AAU, which is Team Nike, by the way, IBL, 13 a game, 3 rebounds a game, 2 assists per game, and he went up in 3-point percentage, so to 41.2%. He dropped 22 points and hit 5 threes against the PSA Cardinals, who have a ton of talent on that team. I watched that game. And his defensive metrics. He averaged 1.1 steal per game in IBL and limited opponents to 38% field goal percentage is what my tape study and stat searching taught me. So when he was the primary defender, they shot 38%. So, like I said, he can play a little defense. He can shoot the ball from way deep, 40% plus. And I think this kid is going to be great in catch and shoot, catch and pull situations. He can create his own shot off the dribble, but it's usually to shoot, not to drive technically. I think he reads defense as well. He makes smart passes. He doesn't really force shots badly a lot. And he hits big crunch time shots, man. In that playoff run, West Town's playoff run, he hit a couple in a game winner and won. So if you look at some what coaches have said about him, coaches praise his gym rat mentality. And so as they say, he's often the first to arrive and last to leave. So that's pretty much all I can give you on him, guys. I went deep on that one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let's move on to Smurf Miller now because, I really thought West Virginia was locked in on this one. I would have told you a couple of days ago this is 100%, right? And things happen in the portal. We know that. He told me he wasn't taking any other visits. I've got the screenshots. For whatever reason he is. Now, West Virginia's already got a ton of guards on the roster. That's number one. I've heard that they've been, I was told they were asking for a bit more money. I don't know if he'll get one, whatever, close to one. I'm not sure if that's what they're asking for, but West Virginia definitely not going to pay that for him, I don't think, for another 5'11 guard. They've already got one that does exactly what he does. Now, this guy, in my opinion, is a better driver to the rim than Honor Huff is. But other than that, I mean, they're very similar players. He's a better defender for sure. That's the part of his game that I think we could use is even though he's only 5'11", 6 feet, whichever one, he is a plus defender, like, a better than average defender for sure. Like, most people will call him a hard-nosed, very good defender. So, I think that'll be missed if he – and I'm not saying 100% he doesn't come to West Virginia. Maybe he's just searching all his options here. But I would say, it seems like maybe this one's on the outs a little bit. It happens, guys. It does happen. So I'm not mad about it. I was looking forward to getting him possibly. I'm not one of those people that if somebody leaves and goes somewhere else – do you guys hate this? Let's say you're all in on a player and then they go somewhere else. And don't you hate it when somebody's like, well, they weren't that good anyway? Like, that's the most annoying quality that somebody can have. Like, it's very similar to people that are on the right or the left, whichever political viewpoint you have. Like I can't listen. Like, this person makes a good point, but I can't hear it because I hate them so much. Like, I can't stand that either. Like, I always want to be in a position to at least acknowledge a good point or, something like that. I just can't stand it. It drives me nuts. Anyway, I'll digress and get off my little soapbox here. Let's talk about the last player here. So, Smurf, like I said, we'll see what happens there. And there are other players, guys, that I didn't even get to today that I could be talking about. The West Virginia reached out to. There's all kinds of there's no way to pack it all into 30 minutes. There's just no way. I'm too much of it. I'm too OCD for one. I have to go deep on all these guys for the most part. Number two, I talk too much, right? So I get stuck on things. Let's talk about this last guy, though. We're already at 30 minutes, so, I mean, I can't even spend a ton of time on this one. But so Jacob Robinson from Emory and Henry. This one's interesting as hell, man. 6'3", 215 pounds. I was, shocked that nobody else is in on this guy. I really am. I thought for sure that he would have more offers, but it's pretty much down to us and Cal at this point, it would seem. And, whatever you want to say about him, the kid can freaking play, man. Yeah, I mean, he can. He's a good player. I got to check one thing really quick. What I have written down here doesn't seem right. 1 second. Those of you listening on podcast, I'm sorry that you're listening to some silence on this end. Okay. So, yeah, for whatever reason, I had the total wrong stats written down here. What the heck did I do? I did something wrong. Let me pull this up. Am I even following the right guy on? I don't know what I've done here, guys, but okay. So, I at least studied the tape, and we're going to show some tape of him as well. But he's a defensive back, 6'3", 215 pounds. He had 71 tackles and 6 picks. And it's down to us and Cal, from what I'm told here. This dude is a physical phenom. And if I can find his tape here, what we're going to do is we're going to watch some of it. He does things you shouldn't be able to do on the football field at his size. And I think this would be one of the steals of the portal season if West Virginia can somehow get this kid. No lie. So I'm going to try to find exactly what I'm getting at here. So, all right. Oh, by the way, on my transfer up impact meter scale, he's a 47 out of 50. No doubt about it. Absolute stud. I think he comes in and probably clips. I'll be shocked if he's not. I don't want to say shocked if he doesn't start, but he's got a great chance to start if he comes in, guys. So let's go on here and watch some tape really quick. That'll be fun, and then we'll get off of here. So here he is, 6'3", 215 pounds, just a monster of a guy. Looks like he's got no eyes there, but his helmet is hiding it. Kind of funny looking. So as you can see, he's got no offers. And so I'm not going to lie, that's Cam Abshire, who got all the attention that we wanted him to. But, I mean, my first thought was, okay, West Virginia's offering another one of these guys that nobody wants, like we've seen a few of those this year. And, I just choose to watch the tape before I make any judgments. Wait till you see this tape, guys. This kid here can play. For those of you listening on podcast, here we go. This is a little bit grainy. Hopefully it looks better. There he is at 6'3", and I don't know how well y'all can see this. That is an incredible catch right here, high pointing the ball. Awesome looking. There was a picture of it. Hey, that was cool. See if I can find it again. That was kind of cool how they flashed that picture in. There it is. So there's the picture of him making this interception. Pretty dang cool. Way above. Pretty cool stuff, man. So obviously they've got him playing at deep safety here. Watch him range and rove around here. He makes the break for the ball. Pick. Gone. And he's definitely gone. Like it. 6'3", 250 pounds. Could he be another Robert Sands, guys? Look at him break on the ball here. One-handed interception. Thank you very much. I like it. Look, you could tell who he is. I mean, he doesn't even look real on the screen. He's so much bigger than everybody. Like, this looks like a big linebacker playing in the slot. Here he is again. Look how much bigger he is. Is this not comical? This is comical. Look at this little slot receiver here compared to him. This is hilarious. I mean, are we kidding? He swallows him up. And he picked that off. Nice. That's crazy, man. Here he is in run defense. Nice, physical. So, not sure what his speeds running are. I mean, it doesn't look like I definitely don't think he's the speed demon, but he's got size. He's got athleticism. He's got that size matters, man. I could see him coming in and possibly maybe West Virginia moving him down and into this part of the box here where you're coming off the edge, that kind of stuff, because I don't know if coverage is his game necessarily, but, man, I like a lot of what I see here. So there he is coming off the edge again, bang. And this is a common theme with what you see with West Virginia guys, y'all. Everybody they're bringing in these days can be freaking aggressive, man. And that's everybody from Bogle from yesterday. One here. I just kind of go ahead and say, fine, that's fine with me. All right, guys, I'm done with this one. I hope you guys have a great day. Have a great week, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here, guys. Good night.